Hi! I know it's been a minute since I've done a video, but in my defense, I've been super busy with like family goings on. Yeah. In June, my daughter, who lives in North Carolina, my daughter got married. Then June 24th, we had our first granddaughter, which is our first grandchild. My son and his wife had a little baby girl, and I get to meet her soon. I'm gonna be a mess when I meet her. I cry in the card aisle at Target, no joke. But anyway, I get to meet my first grandbaby soon, and hopefully I can catch some footage of that just so you guys can see how beautiful she is. Okay, stop. I'm gonna review this wheel for you guys today, which I purchased at the Yofuly store on Amazon, and I will leave a link in the description for you if anyone's interested in that. One of the reasons why I bought this wheel was because, well, number one, my boyfriend ordered me a cute little wheel off, I think it was like on one of those Kickstarter things that he found, and he's like, hey, do you want this wheel? And I'm like, yeah. And so he ordered it for me, and they were supposed to be shipped out last month in July, but for some reason, because the motor they said wasn't strong enough, which was the whole selling point of that little mini wheel anyway. However, it's held up in production, so I didn't want to wait any longer because it's such a pain. When I throw, like, do you guys love this little shelf? How cute is that? I made it a couple days ago. Maybe I'll do another video on that, but not to get off the subject. When I make my tiny pottery, it's just a pain to lug out my portable wheel out here because it weighs 25 pounds and I have to lug it from the garage out to the patio. And then the cleanup, I know it's just tiny pottery, but then I have a whole big wheel to clean up and a whole basin to clean up for what? For this little pottery. It's a unique pottery wheel. They actually have a YouTube channel and I subscribe to them, but they don't have too much activity on there, but I'll leave that link also because it's like UNEIK or UNIEK. I don't know right offhand, but it's one of those, but it's called Unique Pottery Wheel. And it's super cute and it comes with tools, but I couldn't wait. So I went ahead and got this on Amazon. I'm gonna go over some of the features on this wheel, review it and tell you why I like it. And then later on, you're gonna get to see me throw some tiny pottery on this wheel. I'm gonna first go over some of the features on this wheel. I'd say this probably weighs, I don't know, 3 pounds, maybe less, maybe more. It's not very heavy at all. It did not come with this basin. This was my boyfriend and I's ingenuity, because if you throw on this, you need a basin, and it flies. The clay flies everywhere, the water flies everywhere, and it makes a mess. So I was looking around the garage and I happened to see these. I bought these for my boyfriend like at the dollar store a year or so ago, and they're for like screws, and it has a magnet and it attaches to his toolbox, but he's never used them, so I took it back. I took it back because he's not using it. So what I had him do was drill, there's 2 screws that stick up because we had to take this whole thing apart when we did that. So I know that the motor is under there, and those screws hold up the motor along with the part that holds the turntable, the wheel turntable in. So there was 3 holes that I needed so this would sit flush because the screws stick up. So he drilled me those holes, so we got it right and we got it in there. And for now this works fine, but I would like a little bigger one because this actually came with 3 turntable heads. So there's a little one, and right now I have the medium sized, and then there's a bigger size. But this, you can see it's bigger than my basin. So what I think I'm gonna do is, my boyfriend gave me the idea, is just like throw a clay one on the wheel, and I'll probably just bisque fire it and instead of, I don't know, I'll see when and if I get to that point. But I thought that would be a good idea, so I could just leave the bigger one on there. There's some duct tape over this right now because we had to drill a hole because it takes an Allen wrench to get in there to unscrew this wheel head so it comes out. I just keep this handy in my my pottery toolbox. I just keep it in there so I can, when I need to change this out, I just rip this duct tape off, stick this in there, unscrew the little screw in there, and then switch out my wheel head. But honestly, I haven't switched it out since I put it on. It's so hot out here, I'm melting. But having this basin here makes all the difference. Now let's talk about the switches. This switch controls the speed of the turntable head, and this wheel goes in either direction, so you could have it going left or you could have it going right, depending on if you're right or left-handed. And I'm actually left-handed, but I throw right-handed. So I mean, when you're left-handed, you kind of get left out in a lot of ways, like in school. And I remember a teacher smacking my hand because I held my pencil wrong because I'm left-handed. And most people, left-handed people, write like this, right? Well, she smacked my hand and I had to learn to write like this, which I did. But anyways, left-handed people get screwed, just saying. But I'm not bitter about it. Now we know that the wheel goes in either direction and you can control the speed. And this thing is pretty quiet. It's very quiet. Okay, let's talk about what this mini wheel came with. It came with this set of artist brushes, which are good to paint, to do your glazing, maybe clean up anything while you're throwing. But honestly, I already have a ton of brushes, and I mean, you could always use more, right? Because they get old. Or sometimes when you're using the wax, you don't want to mix your glaze and wax brushes together because the wax just messes up the brushes. So maybe that will be good for that. Anywho, you could always use more brushes, right? And it came with this set of tools, which I was hoping would be like mini tools, but they gave me big tools for a mini wheel. That makes no sense to me, but again, not gonna question it. I just engineered my own little, this came with a sponge inside, so I cut it, and then I had some craft sticks that I just cut in half to the size that I wanted, and just cut a little piece of this sponge and took some twine and just tied it around, and I have like this teeny tiny awesome sponge that like fits down in the pottery and gets, I don't want to get that stuck or break it. It's dry now. But it sticks down in the pottery and cleans up water that I can't get to normally with my big sponge. So kudos to me for being smart. Not really. I mean, I saw it. I probably saw this on YouTube somewhere, so can't take credit for that. Okay, let's get back to what's in here. Okay, so it just came with your standard pottery tools. You have your standard metal rib, which some people love this thing. I use it sometimes, but I use it more to like to smooth out my pottery when I'm hand building. It's good for that, but I like to use like a little rubber rib because then I don't gouge my pottery up. And then it has a wooden rib tool as well. It has a pear-shaped trimming tool. Crazy because this thing's huge. It would probably work if you really wanted it to, but I already have a set of mini trimming tools and I love these. Because when I throw, I trim on this wheel too. I don't take it off wet because it messes it up, so I just dry it with a lighter on here. And then I just do my trimming and then it's all done and ready to go. There's a wire cutter tool, another trimming tool, that's mine. I use it to throw, it's the other half of this stick. And then a needle tool, which this is my third needle tool, so I don't really use it, but it's nice to have backup. and it came with this wooden knife tool as well. Those are all the tools it came with. Okay, so before I show you guys how I use my wheel, I'm going to talk about, before I purchased this wheel, I read the Amazon reviews, and most of the complaints, do I want to call them complaints? Probably, yes. Some of the reviews said that this, when you push down, the wheel head slows down. Well, yeah, because A, it's a mini pottery wheel and the motor is only so big and so strong. But I found that that really only does that during centering. So once I have it centered, and the more you center it, and you could adjust the speed too, because in the beginning, like, this thing whips around and it like vibrates, just like a normal wheel if it's off center, right? But once you get it centered, you're good to go. And then I just, like my normal wheel, I just slow it down and then I pull my walls. I feel like a lot of people who get these wheels are just beginning pottery, and they want to maybe see if they, before they purchase a big ticket item like a wheel, to see if they like pottery first of all. So some people don't know that, yeah, when you throw on this tiny wheel and you push down, it's going to have some resistance and it's going to slow the wheel a little bit, but you just got to work through it. But I also found that this motor holds up to that. Overall, I really love this wheel. So let me show you guys how to use this baby. Since the video got a little long, I decided to do a second part of the video. So you'll have to watch the demonstration on the second part. Hope to see you there. I hope you subscribe and follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Vanilla Vine Pottery. Thanks for watching, and keep on potting.